a video on, first steps to living debt free, because I made that other video talking about just why to basically, and this one is more like how to. And well, step one, stop spending money. If you don't have to spend it, don't spend it. Now, I don't mean don't buy things you love, but like, for example, I was laughing at a friend of mine the other day because I was buying a Cold Steel Bushman and something else like a fucking what was it? A fucking the Gladius machete and all those fucking like weapons, like $20 a piece. And they were saying, "Well, I thought you said you were trying to save money." I am, and this is my point exactly. Is I know I am going to want melee weapons, so I am buying them now because those melee weapons are good and I like them and I can get them for $20, and $20 is not a lot of money right now. So I'm not going to buy a whole shit ton of melee weapons. I'm buying some that work. That's what I'm doing with everything. I'm buying some that work. Uh, so that's good money to spend. It's not good money to go like, oh, I'm gonna go eat cheeseburgers every night, or it's not good money to spend to like have $8,400 pocket knives. Like I have one that I got for free, and I have a handful of other knives that kind of range in price. But my next most expensive knife is a fucking Leatherman, probably. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense. And like a lot of the people who are watching this probably have a whole bunch of guns and a whole bunch of knives and a whole bunch of whatever that they've hoarded, but they don't have everything set up so that they are independent. And this is what I'm trying to do. I've hoarded everything that I could fucking hoard a billion times over. I'm over it. I'm gonna go build a fucking pimptastic cabin in the woods and go do some hippie shit. Okay, that's my plan. And hippie shit doesn't cost a lot of money. And a lot of people be like, "What do you mean hippie shit?" Well, I mean like I'm gonna smoke a bunch of weed that I grow myself and have kinky lesbian sex with a whole bunch of women and trans women in a cabin in the woods full of guns and maybe one or two cats and maybe like some other livestock or whatever to support the feeding of said group of lesbians. But yeah, this is where I'm headed. And so if step one is not spending money, step two is making money. Now, this can mean many things. And like, if you're not spending money, you don't have to make much money. Some things are always going to cost money. You're always going to have to eat. You're always going to have to smoke weed. If you smoke weed, you're always going to need gas in the car. These are givens. Oh. You're always going to need car insurance. You're always going to have to pay property taxes. There's a lot of stuff that are always. Don't worry about those. Worry about the sometimes and the maybes. Cut things out of your life. I've cut a whole bunch of stuff out of my life in the last year. I have not had a soda pop in 4 months now. That's big for me. I was a big pop drinker. And I'm not saying don't drink stuff if you enjoy it. Like, I have 2 flats of soda in there, and I pulled out a Coke the other day. I had one because I was having popcorn and watching The Edge. And that's how I am with pop now. Like, that's not how you should be with everything, but that's how you should be with a lot of things. And that's like the reason America is so fucked up right now. It's not that pop is bad. It's not that cheeseburgers are bad. It's that you have 3 gallons of Coke and 4 cheeseburgers for one meal of a 4-meal day or some shit. That's what's killing you. you know So make money. And how do you make money? Well, I would encourage you to be creative and artsy and figure out how to make something. Make something and make it good and put it on Etsy. You'll be amazed. If you're good at doing videos and photography and that sort of thing, maybe you could do social media, YouTube, Instagram. Honestly, I've had a lot of good stuff in my life because of those things, and I would encourage other people to do it. But it's not the best source of income. In reality, I think the best source of income for the type of thing that I'm talking about anyway is some sort of online job with Starlink and or farming. Okay. Secondary jobs would be artisan stuff like the blacksmithing thing or whatever. And like I'm particularly good, sorry, I have to cough. I'm particularly good at some things. So if I can use those some things in blacksmithing to make money, I'm going to do that. And like that's what you need to do. You need to find your niche and stop all this fucking, you know, working for fucking pennies on the dollar for other people, basically. Like, if you need some money to start with, go do one of these jobs and get up as high in it as you can and take as much money as you can and then leave. Okay. And the entire time you work there, live like a fucking poor ass college student and save every fucking dime you get. And like right now with the inflationary shit we're dealing with, maybe saving it in cash isn't the best idea, but that's a whole different topic for another video. Um, the inflation crisis that is ongoing and going to get worse is it's going to change how a lot of people see cash. And for me, the best way to do the living debt free thing is to own all your own shit outright, right? And the only way to do that cheap anymore is to get undeveloped land. Now, if you can afford to buy a house outright and can afford to pay the property taxes on said house and can afford to pay the bills to heat and cool said house, cool. That's probably not most of you. That's a crazy amount of money. Why would you do that? Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to go buy 2 acres of land, like I said, and I'm going to build a house that it doesn't cost much to run. And then I'm going to build a solar setup and have a wood stove, and that's just what it's going to be. Like maybe I add electric heat or something down the road or gas heat or something, but like I doubt it. This is sustainable. I can do this myself. And not that sustainable, like, oh, for the planet or whatever, but like, so they don't have control over you. You know, if they can shut off your gas and now you don't have heat anymore, they have control over you. And this is a big part of like the whole living debt free thing is like living off grid like that gives you the opportunity to live cheap in the first place. And you should be a outdoor person anyway, into guns, into knives, into camping. You should be cool with going and camping out for a year and building your own shit. If you're not that type of person, then why do you have guns at all? I guess is my question. Maybe you're not physically capable of doing that. And if that's you, then cool. But even then, like I have physical fucking limitations, and so do other people, and they go out and do this shit. Find a way to make it happen. Outthink the fucking problem. And like this is where it really comes down to everything that I'm buying is not an expense right now. Everything that I'm buying is an investment in my future. Like that's with the solar system. That's some expensive shit to buy, yes. But I'm never going to have an electric bill again. And I'll have minimal repair bills on the system. And for those going solar is expensive, I'm going to show you ways to do solar that is cheap as fuck. I'm not going to start really talking about that stuff until I have the ability to show it on video and I'm ordering my own stuff. But as I build my own system, I will show all of that. And if you're currently building your system, hit me up and I can give you advice. Uh, I have a Discord, uh, or there's Patreon, or hit me up in the comments maybe and leave your phone number, whatever. Like, especially if you're serious about building a system and would like to pay for advice and or just basically I can save you a lot of money now after doing all this fucking research on it. There's shit to buy and shit not to buy and places to buy it, and like everything I ever did with guns to get guns cheap, I did with solar and a whole bunch of other stuff, and that's what all these videos are going to be on. Before, when I was doing gun videos, I was doing videos on cool guns because I would fucking go out and hunt and peck and horse trade and finagle and look at gun shows and trade until I had cool shit. And I'm doing that exact same shit now, except it's even really easier because a lot of this stuff, it's just knowing where to buy it, buying it in bulk, and then being able to build it all up yourself and do whatever you want. And that's going to be a big key to like buying land and stuff, is you really need land out in the middle of nowhere where no one's going to fucking criticize what you're doing. And this is part of like having a plan to make money via Starlink, having a plan to make money farming, having a plan, have like, I would, if I was going to do an off-grid farm out in the middle of nowhere, I would buy like a big 6x6 deuce and a half truck and have some, pretty decent half-ass road in and out of that place and use that to take my shit to market. Whether it was vegetables and fucking sheep or whatever the fuck it is. You can farm a lot of shit. But there's ways around everything, right? With the way things are headed fuel wise, I don't know if I would invest at all in a gasoline powered vehicle. When I sold my FJ Cruiser, I bought a $2,000 2004 Honda Odyssey in gold with a bumper torn off. You can see that in my shit. It's the fan vehicle video. It's a good van. It's going to do what I need it to do. And whenever it dies, it's going to get a place of honor because of the service that it's going to provide. I already like that van. It's the perfect vehicle. A lot of people don't get that, but like a full-size van is cumbersome. I think a minivan gives you a big enough place to put a place to sleep in the back of it and build it out as like an expedition vehicle, but you're not getting crazy. Like a lot of the vehicles just get big and like, you start standing out. A minivan doesn't stand out. And it's cheap. And that's the other thing, is you get to use more money for other things. And right now you'd be like, well, I need a better car to get chicks or whatever. I guarantee you, if you have a fucking minivan pimped out the way I have it pimped out, or I'm going to pimp it out, I'm kind of in process, and have your own land with your own cabin on it, and are starting to build other shit and save money, some woman is going to fuck your brains out. Okay? Like, I think a lot of guys underestimate how many women do not want to live in some shithole off-grid thing, whatever, with whatever. But like, if you offer them a really nice fucking thing, like a mansion in the woods with you as like some sort of a sexy lumberjack, which, maybe we should start talking about exercises to make you into a sexy lumberjack, but that's a whole different video topic. This is the package that I would be selling to women now. If I were you, like, the world's going to shit. Be the sexy lumberjack with the cabin and the weird minivan. Other ways to cut money. Watching what you eat. And I don't mean like health wise. Although you should watch what you eat health wise, but like cost wise, you can eat healthy for cheap. My buddy is really good about this, and I'm hoping some of that'll rub off on me if we're hanging out a lot together because you can do a lot with just like some basic vegetables, some rice, and some poultry. Maybe a little bit of bread now and then, something like that. You don't need a whole lot. And like I like variety and whatever too, but like I also just like really good food. And if you give me really good food and it's something that I like, even over and over again, I'm good. Like eventually I'll get tired of it. But that's the thing with rice-based dishes and Asian cooking and shit. There's a billion different sauces, a billion different veggies and meats and whatever, and the rice is just a base, and you can do whatever you want. And really, pretty much anything with soy sauce and sriracha and rice and some sort of vegetables with it, that's a meat, is going to be pretty good. And like that's how I would encourage you to eat. Um, Aside from that, I think if you're on your own, microwave meals are really easy. I really like Marie Callender's. Um, Other budget tips would be bottled water. You can get it really cheap at Costco, and I feel like I'm getting away with something because I'm drinking shit out of a bottle, but it's damn near free, and I encourage you to drink more water, which is better. And then for sweet cravings and shit like that, like hard candies, you can get pretty damn cheap. They last a pretty damn long time, and yeah, they're just great. There's something that like if you have a sweet tooth, there's no way that you're gonna sit there and eat, you know, 10,000 jawbreakers or whatever. You're gonna get sick of them after so many, you know, 3 to 5 somewhere in there. Like I don't know how you could eat more jawbreakers than that. I would be sick after one or two of them, to be honest. That's the thing. Like, it, you have stuff that gets rid of that sweet craving for cheap. Is what I'm saying. And you can do that in a lot of ways. There's a whole bunch of people that like don't understand what signals their body's giving them, and they just interpret it as hungry, and then they go eat, and then they're still hungry, and like they don't get that like that hunger signal is your body wanting sugar or protein or whatever, and that takes a lot. Honestly, I still struggle with some of that myself, but after starving for so long and dieting for so long, I have a pretty good idea of what those signals are. Uh, and that would be my encouragement to you, I guess, is if you want to know those signals, you have to start testing your own limits. And maybe that's kind of what the living debt free thing is for me is I want to prove to myself that I can live without the fucking banks. Like I barely ever even had a bank account. When I do, it's an empty checking account with a debit card that I charge with money and then use to get goods. And then occasionally I'll have something like a Venmo or PayPal, right, to like take in money, but it's not very often. Um, the other thing that you should watch out for doing this is there's all sorts of shit that a capable young man in the country can do to make money. There are people that have ranches and houses that are getting older that could just use like an odd list of odd jobs done. And like some of those people, the list of odd jobs could be $2,000 worth of shit that could be done in a couple of days. But it's hard to get somebody out there to do it that they can trust and yada yada yada. And this is the thing that when you buy land, buy it someplace that has a community, be active in the community, meet these people, advertise your services as like a handyman. And this is the thing is you should be a handyman. Like, why are you not? Swinging a hammer is not very fucking hard. Okay, like this is the thing that I'm blown away with a lot of people. Like, especially talking to certain friends of mine that used to do construction. It's like they don't understand that not everything is built in the Taj Mahal. Some things, you can do a lot of things just slowly over time. And if they're cool with you working that way, which a lot of these people are, you can just go make money in the country. They'll pay you in cash. This has been a thing since the 1800s or before, really before. Hell, like this was a thing in the fucking 16 and 1700s. So I'm pretty sure that's still going to be that way. So if I were you, I would learn how to swing a hammer. I would learn how to use a paintbrush. I would learn how to use a hoe and a shovel. These are useful life skills. I would learn how to use power tools too, like drills and saws and shit like that, table saws and band saws. And if you don't know how to do these things, maybe go find a woodworking class or something near you if you need classes. And like this is really the thing is like I think a lot of people need classes now just to make them safe. And I always had to be extra safe because I never had a class. So I would go play with power tools without a fucking class. I would wear eye protection and I would keep my thumbs and fingers out of the way of blades. And don't drill through your own hand. Shit like that. But like be handy. You can make a lot of money being handy. Uh Other advice for being debt free. Oh, learn how to fucking buy and sell shit. Horse trade. Negotiate. Go to pawn shops. First off, buying used shit at pawn shops saves you money. Second off, the ability to sell stuff and horse trade and do that kind of stuff is if you find something at a good deal down the road, maybe you can sell it and make money or trade it for something else that you need. This is an essential skill of the scavenger, soldier, marine, whatever the fuck you are, like homesteader. Really, I think this is just an essential life skill. Uh, I should probably do a whole video on how to be a scrounge, but I don't even know if I could cover that really in a video. That's one of those videos that like it could go on to be a series really. But always have your eyes open for opportunity and try not to spend any money and don't ever go into debt. And if you're currently in debt, that's going to probably be a separate video. Guess this is going to be there's going to be a part 3 to this. Ooh. See you guys.